Okay. So today we'll continue with the pending thing. Okay. So we're supposed to complete the data entry from automation, right? So we will continue the previous class and we'll close that task today. Okay. So what we need to do the first step. So we need to open the job form link and we should have the data for medical history, right? Where is that? Yeah. So this is a file we have on drive. Okay, so this is the one which we are going to use it. Okay, so assume that you have this much of data. Okay, so ఈ డేటాను మనం ఎలా యూజ్ చేసుకుందాము. ఓకే, సో హౌ టు ఆటోమేట్ ద ప్రాసెస్, ద ఎంటైర్ ప్రాసెస్ అనేది ఇప్పుడు చూద్దాము. ఓకే, లెట్స్ సే I'm going to copy this and paste this here. So which will open the one form. Okay, so basically మన దగ్గర కొన్ని డీటెయిల్స్ ఉన్నాయి. లెట్స్ సే 100 మెడికల్ హిస్టరీ ఉన్న సమ్ పేషెంట్స్ ఆర్ డీటెయిల్స్ ఉన్నాయి డేటా. ఓకే, సో ఆ డేటాని మనము మన యొక్క సిస్టంలోకి యాడ్ చేయాలి అనుకుందాం. ఓకే, సో టు యాడ్ దిస్ ఇస్ ద మీడియం. ఓకే, వేర్ వీ హ్యావ్ వన్ ఫార్మ్ టు ఫిల్ ద డేటా, సో ఇట్ ఆటోమేటికలీ గెట్ సేవ్డ్ ఇన్ ద ఫార్మ్ ఆఫ్ electronic mode. Okay. Okay, so let's do this. Very easy way. Okay, let me open this. Okay, so this is the one which you're going to start. I think I have already started. Just a second. Yeah. సో వెరీ సింపుల్ ఉంటుంది, పెద్దగా కష్టపడిన అవసరం లేదు. యాక్చువల్గా చెప్పాలంటే యూఐ ఆటోమేషన్ అంటే యూజర్ ఇంటర్ఫేస్ ఆటోమేషన్ అనేది చాలా ఈజీ ఉంటుంది. ఓకే, కంపేర్ టు అదర్ ఆటోమేషన్స్. ఓకే, yeah. So what is our first step is we are going to read the file. Okay, which we have opened there. So bot ఏం చేస్తుంది, ఫైల్స్ అంతా డేటా అంతా రీడ్ చేసుకుంటుంది. రీడ్ చేసిన తర్వాత దిస్ ఇస్ ద ఫామ్ వేర్ వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు ఓపెన్ ఇట్ ఆర్ use it as this one. Okay, let me copy the same. Yeah, so this is the URL which we are going to use it, and the type of browser I'm going to use the Chrome because it's already installed on the Chrome. Okay, and yeah, so once browser is open, we need to go through the each and every file to get the values, line item. So this is the way which we are going to get the values. But now our part is we need to map those fields. Okay, how to map those fields we'll see now. What happened to Akshita? She left it. Just a
సార్
second.
ఇంకా యాడ్ చేయాల్సినవి ఉన్నాయి సార్ ఫీల్డ్స్.
Sorry.
యాడ్ చేయాల్సినవి ఇంకా ఉన్నాయి సార్ వేరియబుల్స్.
11 యాడ్ చేసాం కదా టోటల్, వీక్లీ మంత్లీ ఎంత వరకు. జస్ట్ ఎ సెకండ్. ఆల్కహాలిక్ కన్జంప్షన్ వరకు యాడ్ చేసాము, ఇంకేం పెండింగ్ ఉంది.
వేరియబుల్స్లో సార్ ఏమైనా క్రియేట్ వేరియబుల్స్.
క్రియేట్ వేరియబుల్సే బట్ ఒక సెకండ్. ఓకే, మీరు చెప్పేది కంప్లీట్ యాడ్ చేయలేదు ఉంది కదా. ఓకే. ఆహ్, మనకు కావాల్సిన ఫీల్డ్స్ అనేవి ఉన్నాయి గదా! ఇంకేం పెండింగ్ ఉంది? Okay, that's fine. Whatever the value we have, okay. So first we will see how to map the values or fields. Okay. సో బేసిక్గా మనం చేయాల్సింది ఏంటంటే ద ఫస్ట్ థింగ్ వచ్చేసి ఓకే ఎనీథింగ్ సపోజ్ if you have a task like you need to go to this form, so this is the URL to reach this place, okay, or a page, okay. Once you landed to this place you should be able to identify whether you are into this phase or not, okay. So if you are into this phase then it will be okay. So Akshita is facing some issue, it seems. Okay, fine. So as soon as we landed to this place, we should get to know whether we are actually into this place or any other page. Okay. So to identify that, we have a some standard content here saying a medical history form. So using this, we can go to we can understand. Okay. Okay. So we will check whether we have this particular element is available or not, and then we start filling the data. Okay. So assume that you are exactly this place. Okay, and you're gonna map these fields. Okay. So what is this field about? I mean to say the type of field it is. Okay. So this type of field is nothing but the just a second, guys. Hello, hello, hello. Prasad. Mm. ఆయన లేడంట నైట్ మార్నింగ్ వచ్చానని చెప్తా అన్నాడు. ఉమ్. ఈ రోజు ఎందుకు ఆఫీస్ సాటర్డేగా. సరే నేను పంపిస్తాను. ఆహా. సరే సరే. ఓకే ఓకే. సరే. ఉమ్, ఉమ్. Okay, sorry for the inconvenience. Yeah, so let's start. If you are as a human being, how you gonna fill the data? So let's say I'm gonna handle like you're gonna enter something like this, right? So and you will enter like this. So all these things we will what using what like which medium you are using to enter the values using the keyboard, right? So that means you are going to key in some value in this field using the like you are going to type some value, right? So this activity we will call this as a type into activity. So whenever you have a field and you wanted to enter something, okay, so there is only the best option that we have in the Uipath is type into activity. Okay, so just go here, use the keyword as type into, okay, and you can see the under keyboard. So since we are going to use the keyboard activity, okay, under keyboard, so you will see the type into, okay. So just drag and drop it here. So once you drag and drop this type into activity, okay, what will happen? For this particular activity you can see the properties here. So what are the properties that we have that we will discuss now? So as soon as you drag and drop it here you can see that there is a now content something like indicate on screen, okay. So this will says about where you wanna enter that value. You need to indicate on the screen because we are doing the UI automation and the surface automation అనమాట. మనం స్క్రీన్ మీద ఏదైతే కనిపిస్తుందో దాన్ని ఆటోమేషన్ చేస్తున్నాం త్రూ ఫ్రంట్ ఎండ్. ఓకే, so if something going with a programmatically, then we will say that is a other way of automation. Okay, so in Uipath, 99%, the automation is all about the surface automation. Okay, so let's say this, you need to click on this indicate on screen, and you need to choose what is the place that you wanted to choose. Okay, so here you can see bot is automatically able to identify, okay, of the each and every element. So here you should have the basic knowledge on the basic HTML side, because the entire page what we are seeing is actually is a HTML page. Okay, so where it will show the the content in the form of like in a very easy way, like the entire thing what you are seeing is a graphical user interface. Okay, so using HTML and CSS we are able to see this page as a the way it looks very nice, right? So it has a colors and codes, and it applies some the designs and all, right? So the entire thing will happen using the HTML and CSS. Okay, so basically in HTML, what will happen is, so we will have the elements, okay, elements and tags which will have. So to create this form and to showcase this page like this, we need to write a tags. Okay, so let me show you the how the HTML code looks like this. So if I press the Control U, okay, and this is the page that we are actually seeing. Okay, if you want to see through the programmatic way, so this is how it looks like, and it is very hard to use it as a normal end user. Okay, only if you are a program knowledge person, then only you will be able to understand. Otherwise you will not be able to understand anything, right? But using this method, it's easy, right? Everybody can understand what is required. That is only we are showing it here in a very good manner, like a with a colorful pages. Okay. What if I ask you to enter here using this method to enter some value as a full name, where I need to enter somewhere here I need to enter. Okay. To form column full name, yes. So here we need to enter that value. Okay, and it is very difficult, to understand to enter the value to save this entire values in the database, right? So that's why we have this HTML page. Okay, HTML code behind it. Okay, HTML and CSS is there. So where we need to showcase this page as a this beautiful page. ఓకే, సో ఇప్పుడు మన టార్గెట్ ఏంటంటే ఈ పర్టికులర్ ఫీల్డ్ని మనం ఎంటర్ చేయాలి. ఓకే, సో ఈ పర్టికులర్ ఫీల్డ్ మనం ఎంటర్ చేయాలంటే యూజింగ్ యూఐపాత్ స్టూడియోలో ఇండికేట్ ఆన్ స్క్రీన్ అని ఉంది కదా, ఆ స్క్రీన్ మీద మనం క్లిక్ చేస్తే ఇక్కడికి వచ్చేసి ఇట్ విల్ ఐడెంటిఫై ద ఈచ్ అండ్ ఎవ్రీ ఎలిమెంట్ దట్ ఈస్ దేర్. సో ఎలిమెంట్ అంటే ఇస్ నథింగ్ బట్ ఇన్పుట్ కిటెన్ వచ్చేసి ఒక ఫామ్ ఐడి, ఇది దానికి సంబంధించిన ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఇది అనేసి ఈచ్ అండ్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఇన్ ద ఫార్మ్ ఆఫ్ ట్యాగ్స్. ఓకే, సో సపరేట్ ఎలిమెంట్స్గా ఇది ఉంటుంది. సో యోపాత్ స్టూడియో ఏం చేసేదంటే వెన్ యూ ఇండికేట్ అనే ఇట్ ఈస్ గోయింగ్ టు ఐడెంటిఫై ద ఎలిమెంట్ ఆఫ్ ఈచ్ అండ్ ఎవ్రీ ఎలిమెంట్. సో దిస్ ఈస్ వన్ ఎలిమెంట్, దిస్ ఈస్ వన్ ఎలిమెంట్, దిస్ ఈస్ వన్, లైక్ దిస్ ఇట్ విల్ బి. ఓకే, yeah. So now you got to know like how to indicate the element on the particular field. Okay. So మనము ఎక్కడ ఇన్పుట్ ఇవ్వాలో అర్థమైంది. ఓకే, నౌ వాట్ వీ హ్యావ్ టు డూ హియర్ ఇస్, సో మనం ఏమి ఇవ్వాలి అనుకుంటున్నాం. సో జనరల్గా మనము మ్యాప్ చేసిన ఫీల్డ్ వచ్చేసి ఫస్ట్ నేమ్ కాబట్టి ఐఎమ్ యాడింగ్ ది ఫస్ట్ నేమ్ యాజ్ అ వేరియబుల్. See, as soon as I provided the basic requirement, so in this type into activity, so there is a one mandatory field which is nothing but this one. So what you want to enter. So you need to provide the value to this field, and the error will go off. Okay, and now you need to choose where you are exactly going to select it. So that you can see it using edit selector. Click on edit selector, and you can see, so it is giving the actual code. So the same way what you have seen in the this here. Okay, so input id, and there are some labels span. Okay, so these are all like html tags. Okay, so the same tags it's already extracted here like this. So what we are doing it is, in the html, there is an app called chrome exe, and the title of the app is medical history form, and we have a tag of input tag, and we need to enter some value in it. Okay, so this is how it gonna work it, and click ok. So if I click on edit selector and highlight it, it should select the exact part where you wanted to select. Click ok and save this one, and let's run only for this act one. Okay, so no need to enter any other things, and we will just run it and show you how it works. Okay, so for this type into activity, what are the options that we have? Okay, in the properties panel, you can see all the properties here. Okay, so we have chosen the target. So target and selector is nothing but the where you're gonna enter it. So that we have already done it, and there is a one more option to like a wait for ready. So what will happen? So it basically before the programming that actions and wait for the target to be ready. Okay, so in simple words, what we can say is, so you are trying to identify the field, or waiting for the field and to enter this first name. Okay, but the problem is what I mean the browser still loading. If there is any network issue, or any other issues, what will happen? There could be chances of the loading pages are slow. Okay, so that time what will happen, if it pass already, if it trying to what is executing this step, but the field is not available, then we will get an error saying, okay, that particular element is not available. Okay, the URL element is not found, but the reason is because of the slowness in the web browser. Okay, so that's why what will happen, we have one no, simple activity or a option in the properties for this type into activity, which is nothing but the wait for ready. So what will happen, it wait for the until it's it appears. Okay, and it will wait for the maximum time. So the following options are available, and it does not wait for the target to be ready. It's wait until it's only the part of the app is loaded. And okay, so what they're trying to say is, for example, so I'm going to refresh this browser, so that what will happen? It will load. It will take some 3 seconds to 5 seconds to load entire page. Okay. So sometimes what will happen? You can see. I think you have already observed some of the applications. When you do this refresh, no. So first the header will be loaded, and then some of the other fields will be loaded, and some footer will be loaded, and the later part it will load slowly the entire page, and it will take 5 to 10 seconds. But okay, so within this 5 to 10 seconds, bot is already started executing that particular steps. Okay, so but if it is not found, then it will throw an error. So that's why we are using this wait for ready activity. So wait for ready activity, what it will do is, it will not wait until the page is loaded. Okay, so it will wait until this particular element is loaded. ఓకే, సో మళ్ళీ చెప్తున్నాను, ఏం క్లియర్గా వినండి. We are trying to add some value in this field. Okay, but అప్పటికే పేజ్ అనేది లోడ్ అవ్వట్లేదు. లోడ్ అవ్వలేదు అండ్ బాట్ ఈస్ నాట్ ఏబుల్ టు సీ దిస్ ఫీల్డ్. అలాంటప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తదంటే బాట్ విల్ వెయిట్ ఫర్ సమ్ టైమ్ టు యునో కమ్ టు దిస్ పేజ్. ఈ పర్టికులర్ ప్లేస్‌లోకి రావడానికి బాట్ లోడ్ అవుతది గదా! లోడ్ అయ్యేంత వరకు వెయిట్ చేస్తది. ఈ పర్టిక్యులర్ ఫీల్డ్ ఎప్పుడైతే యాక్టివ్ అయిపోతదో then immediately it will take an action to enter the value. Okay. And if it is not happening, until the entire page is loaded, then it will wait until the page is completed. Okay, so here we have a option like this: wait for ready. టోటల్గా మనకి త్రీ ఉంటాయి. నన్ను ఇచ్చామంటే సో ఇట్ విల్ నాట్ వెయిట్. ఓకే. ఇంటరాక్టివ్ అంటే అంటిల్ దిస్ ఫీల్డ్ ఈజ్ లోడెడ్ ఇట్ విల్ వెయిట్ అండ్ ఇఫ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ ఇంటరాక్టివ్ దెన్ డైరెక్ట్లీ ఇట్ విల్ యాడ్. ఓకే, ఇట్ డజంట్ వెయిట్ ఫర్ అంటిల్ ఇట్ కంప్లీట్స్. ఓకే. And again the complete option, so it will wait for the complete it will wait for the complete page is loaded. Okay. Yeah, so this is how it works. Okay, so I'm going to choose this as an interactive, which is the best way to use it. And then let me go through the other options what we have. Okay, so since you are using the field, so and you wanted to use that field or enter something before you know going to type something, you need to click here. So this is the option. Sometimes what will happen? There are some field until you click it here it will not enable it. Okay, so in that case you need to use this option. Okay, so until you click on this particular field it will not enable to enter something. So in that case you can use this option as click before enter. Okay. And then you can also keep some delay between the keys. Suppose if you are adding some value and if you want to keep some delay in between, you can keep some milliseconds delay using this option. Okay. And you can also deselect that particular field, and that means you should come out after enter some value, you should come out of that field. You can use this option. And this is a very good option and it's important too, because so if you for example here I have added something, and if this page is not loaded and it is not refreshed, so what will happen? So here luckily the value is refreshing, and which will give you the empty space. Okay, it's like a empty field. But what will happen sometimes? Bot is trying to add this field which is already there is some value, and what will happen? Like this, it will add the same value multiple times. It's gonna add it, which is a wrong. Okay. So for example, na pair already add this on namikada. Okay. So because of some issue or something, okay, it is going to add one more time, and it'll add like this. So which is a wrong, right? So that's why what will happen? So whenever you're going to add some value, because it requires only the first name, and we already have in this variable, so we can just replace with this name here. So to avoid that situation, we will use this empty field. So what will happen? So before going to enter something, it will the field will be empty. Then you will enter the value. Okay. The same way we have a simulate type. Okay, so this will help us a lot because for example this is my field, okay, to enter my value something. Okay, but I have some one application which will cover this part. Okay, so how you gonna enter generally? So it should be in this page and it should add. Okay, sometimes what will happen, it will cover or it will go like this, so the field is not visible. So in that case, okay, this is a very good option to utilize this. Okay, so what will happen, you can see the description. So it simulates the type using the technology of the target application. This input method is the fastest of the three and works in the background. So that is nothing matter. Even though it is covered with the something, it will work. Okay. By default, this checkbox is not selected. So neither this now this end Windows message checkboxes are selected. So the default method perform the action using the hardware driver, and the default method is the slowest, and it cannot work in the background. Sorry, this is this one. Okay, and it cannot work in the background, but it is compiled with all the desktop apps. Okay, so it's a very simple, in a simple words, what we can say, even though if the field is not visible for the board or for us, but through programmatically, it can identify the field where it is and it will enter the value if you choose this option as simulate type. Okay, yeah. So let's try with this single, value and see what will happen. Okay, and as soon as we enter this one we need to refresh, otherwise there will be a field will be empty, correct. mm, let's choose the refresh browser, go here and add it here, and the browser input we have to give. So this is the way jot. See here you have opened the browser and with this link, right? So this instance we need to save it into one, this one actually, as a browser instance, so that we can use it whenever we require. So you can see there are multiple tabs is open, but we want to work with only the particular tab which we have opened. Okay, so in that case it will help a lot as a refresh browser, and just you need to pass the browser instance as a jot browser. That's it. Save it, and so let's try to debug the file, and so that you can understand better way. So let's do the step into. So I'm going to click on the continue. So it has opened and it has, you can see, right? So the bot is entering the values flawlessly, and the last value is nothing but the KT, right? You can see that. Okay, so I'm going to run it once again, and you can see the output. So Excel has opened and it is changing the value. See, yeah. So it has completed all the values. So what is the next step? So you guys need to, okay, tell me how to add the another field. Okay. So what is the other, how to add the another field? Pali.
Typing.
Yeah. So using the typing to add it here. And what is the next step? Yeah. What is the next step?
Indicator
So should click on indicate on screen. Okay. So
select last name.
yeah. So you should choose the what is the other name or other field which you want to enter. So I'm going to enter the last name, so that I'm going to add the last name as a field. So
Text.
yeah, so here what we have to do is we need to provide the variable which is holding the last name, and then so the other option we need to choose it empty field.
Empty.
Okay, yeah. So like this you need to add it. Okay, save it. So how many fields are there? Now you got to know, right, how to add the values. It's a very easy, and let me add the another value also, like age. So for age also it's the same. Just go here, click on indicate. That's it. Choose the empty field and choose the value as age. And what next? Yeah. So here you can see this one you are able to add it, right? But this one, how you are going to add it? Because you are not able to type this value. Okay.
Option.
Yeah, because it is a drop down activity. Okay. So for to type the value, we are using a type into activity. This is a drop down, which is nothing but it has some values. So in that values, we need to select that particular item. Okay. So that's the reason what we are doing it here is we have one simple activity to get that to select that values. So use the select item. Okay. So under the UI automation, you have an element control. Under that, you can see select item and select multiple items. So that means from the drop down, if you want to select the multiple values, you can use this one, or if you want to select only the single value, you can use this one. Okay. So just select it and add it here. Now we just need to indicate on this field, and you can see it is going to ask, this is the default value that will be there, and basis on this value you can go and choose the type of value. Okay. So here what will happen, we need to choose either a male or a female like this. Okay. So that means you need to enter the value here. So since we have already some value stored here. Okay, just close this. Let me open this. So sometimes what will happen, this drop down will have the you know that particular conditions. So it should enter only the exact value. It will not add like this. Okay. So here we have added the same way like how they have defined in the browser. Okay. So I'm going to choose this value and add it here. Okay. So instead of this, what I will do, I will add the gender. What was that? Just a second. Let me see the variable of gender. I think we have not added the gender as a variable. 1 2 3 4 as 3. Yeah, this one is not actually contact number. This is the gender actually. Okay, let me add one more. Relax. And here, a gender. Enter. So, which is going to add the gender as a value. We need to change it for everything because the order is changed. Okay, no problem. Okay, so here you will get to know how to add this drop down values, and this is the place where you need to enter the values, and it require since it is a validation, so you should enter only the 10 characters. Okay, here 10 digits. Okay, and this value should be equal to 10 digits, so that it will not enter allow you to add this value. So but the value, the way you need to add it is same. Okay, so just go here, just a second here. Yeah, let's add it later, but just understand the concept here. So here I'm going to add the gender, and next what you have to do is again one more type into indicate, select the value of this, and go to here if it extract. Yeah, click OK and enter a contact number. That's it. And one more, type into indicate, this is for email address. So choose the email as a variable to give the input. And one more, type into and scroll down, and here this is a one more thing. Okay, so this is another way of entering the value. So instead of here we need to choose the value which is required. So basically, these and all we will say it is a checkboxes. So if you select here, it will come like this. Okay, these are like checkboxes. So we need to choose the checkbox. Okay, so there are two ways to choose these checkboxes. One is the click activity, the way we have done it, but we have a one more activity to select the checkboxes. Okay, just go to the search activities, type as check activity, and you can see under UI automation you have the check. Okay, just add it here like a checkbox, indicate on screen where you want it to enter. So here I'm going to add the as a separate value, or to indicate the value here as a default value. Okay, so this we are going to choose it, and you can see here under checkbox what are the options we have. Um, if it is disabled, it will enable automatically if you choose this option. And you have a one more option like, so checkbox is nothing but either it can check or uncheck or a toggle. Okay, if it is a check, uncheck it. If it is a check, uncheck, check it. Okay, so here what we have to do is we need to choose the check option, right? So I have chosen the check option, and then which is the default one which I have taken now. But later but basis on the value you can take it because there are multiple options. So basis on the values you need to choose it. Okay, so here you can see the value is nothing but the others. Okay, so instead of others you can replace with the some other name of this one from here as a asthma. Okay, so let's add this value as a asthma. Okay. Yes. Okay. ASTHMA. Okay. So now validate, and if I choose a highlight option, it should go and choose the asthma, right? So this is how we're going to edit the selectors or make it as a more dynamic. But the problem here is if you give only for this value, it will not take that as a um, as a dynamic selector. So what we have to do, we need to keep it as a wildcard, and so it will defaultly identify some value, okay, as a label or a checkbox. And what will happen, we need to provide as a variable here. So in this variable what will happen, um, for example, what is that, medication or something, I need to provide this way. What's a, what is it, variable name. Yeah, check condition we can say. Control C. Here edit the selectors. Here instead of this, make it passes, add the variable name here and see. So what will happen? So whenever the value that will come here, so automatically it fetch that. Suppose if it is a others, if you mention that in the Excel sheet is a others, then it will automatically add here. Okay, if it is a asthma, so this variable will have hold the value of asthma or any other condition. So it will go and replace with it here, and it is able to identify. So what is the value that you are going to choose it. So this way you're gonna choose it, okay, as a dynamic value. So instead of others you're gonna choose that particular options on this. Okay, so like this we have to do it. And the same way you need to use the same option here. And even this way also, this is also like checkbox or a click activity, you can use it. If it is a yes, it will click here. If it is no, it should click here. So how you gonna decide is basis on the condition. So how do you put the condition here? Using if condition. So to make a decision, we will use the this if condition. Okay. So in this if condition, what you have to do is, okay, what is that field name is any medication, right? So in any medication we have only the two options. What is that? So I gonna choose it any medication is equals to, and I'll have some value like yes or no. If it is yes, what it have to do is it should click on this part. So either check or click activity, you can choose anything. Just choose the click activity. I'm going to choose something, then pot, click. I'm going to choose this one as S. Okay. What if it is a not this one? Then it will go to the else part. Here you need to enter the one more button as this. Click on it as no. That's it. So if it is S, it will go and choose this option. If it is no, it is going to choose this option. By this way, you're gonna choose the condition. Okay, so this is how you need to choose the condition. If it is a multiple values also, then you need to use this if else. Okay, and you can add a multiple condition in this if condition itself. Else if you can use the else if and add the values. Okay, and what next? So the same way, see here you can see. So previously we have only two option, now we have three option, that whatever. So now what we have to do is we can choose the other option also like this. You can keep multiple if conditions in at once. Okay, so let's try with the else if. So what is the condition here is allergies, right? So here and add the medication allergies. Okay, just add the medication allergies and is equal to else s. Then what it's supposed to do is it should go and click on S button. Okay, just a second. Yeah, it should choose this S button. Okay, I have chosen this. What if it is no? Okay, so that time you need to click on the add else or else if else. Sorry, not else. You need to click on else if. Okay, so again you can write a one more condition. If it is yes, come here. If it is no, come here and add the value of no. Okay, and here you need to choose the option as no. I'll choose this option as no. And what we have one more thing, right? So what will happen now? Again add a one more if condition, and here again the same way, and you need to choose the option not sure or something. What is that value? Not sure. Okay, so go here and change the value as not sure. So what will happen now? Bot will decide, okay, by checking this condition. If it is a s, going to click this activity. If it is not s, then it will gonna check this condition, what would be the value of this one. If it is a no, then it will check the, if it is equal to no, it will click this activity. If not the these two values, then again it gonna check the what is the other condition that we have here, and it is saying not sure. Then here it is going to choose the option as not sure. That's it. So if you have a conditions like this, you can choose the else if a condition. Okay, so like this you need to add a, you know even though if it is a decision making questions also, on the multiple values also, you can choose it. So yes, we have a one more field, nothing but the drop down. So how to use the drop down again? How to use the drop down? Using the select item. Okay, so just indicate on this and choose this. And what would be the options here? Yes or no question. So either way you can choose it, and you can choose it from the drop down also. Fine. Okay. So that we can get it from the Excel data. Okay. So by default I'll just add S. And for example, sometimes what will happen if you don't want to take multiple values and defaultly it should add as a S, then you can directly choose it from here. You don't need to call it from the variable because it's a default value anyway, and you can choose it from itself. So the drop down values. Okay. And next, what is that option? Yeah. So another one is nothing but the other multiple options here. So how to choose these multiple options again? Using the else if condition. Correct. So your task is today. Okay, you need to complete this task this way. So how we have done it? We have opened the browser and map the all the fields through the surface automation and chosen the options. Wherever is required a click activity, we have used the click activity. Wherever it is required the check activity, we have used the check activity. And if it is required a drop down activity, we have chosen the select item. And if you want to type something, we will use the type into activity. So the entire automation we have used very very less activities, maximum 4 we have used it. So it is not that difficult. Okay, just try to add it from your end, and try to automate this one. I'll share this link with you guys. Just go through the you know this form and start adding the values and automate the values. So at last what will happen after choosing these multiple options? Okay, you need to click on submit. Okay, I'm just skipping that else if part because you guys can do it. Okay, just choose the option as click and indicate on this one to click on submit. So it will gonna click on the submit button. So దీన్ని బట్టి మీకు ఏమర్థమైంది, లైక్ ద ఫ్లో ఈస్ బిల్ట్ ఇన్ దిస్ వే. ఓకే, సో ఎక్కడి నుంచి ఎలా స్టార్ట్ అవుతుందో ఎక్కడ చూసుకోవచ్చు. ఫస్ట్ వీ హ్యావ్ అ డేటా, we store it here. Okay, in the form of data table. And then we have open a browser with that link. It is fine. And then what will happen, it is going to get this data table values, loop through each and every value. And that value we have assigned using this as an activity. And then okay, you need to type that values here by mapping the fields and choosing the correct selector and enter this. Okay, so this is how you need to add the flow, and this is how you need to complete the task as a automation. Okay, so that's it for it. Any questions on this? You guys able to do it, right? Any doubts? Yeah, any doubts, guys?
సార్ ఇది ఇప్పుడు డేటా మనము ఇప్పుడు ఓన్లీ ఎక్సెల్లో డేటా రిట్రీవ్ చేసుకోవడానికి ఇచ్చాం కదా సార్.
అవును.
ఒకవేళ ఎంట్రీ చేయాలంటే మనం
సో ఎంటర్ చేయాలంటే అది మాన్యువల్ వర్క్ అవుతుంది కదా. See, when you
ఆ,
have data only, that means it's going to add the values as a automation. Okay, you're going to take the values from the data table and it is going to add. So ఒకవేళ మీరే ఓన్గా మాన్యువల్గా ఎంటర్ చేయాలంటే దెన్ యూ నీడ్ టు యూజ్ ది లాస్ట్ టైం మీకు చూపించాను కదా ఇన్పుట్ డైలాగ్ బాక్స్ అని. ఆ ఇన్పుట్ డైలాగ్ బాక్స్ని యూజ్ చేసుకొని మీకు బాట్ రన్ అయినప్పుడు ఆ వాల్యూ అక్కడ కనిపిస్తుంది, అంటే ఇన్పుట్ బాక్స్ వస్తుంది. అక్కడ మీరు రన్ చేసిన తర్వాత ఇక్కడ మీరు యాడ్ చేయాల్సి ఉంటుంది.
ఓకే ఓకే.
బట్ అది ఆటోమేషన్ అవ్వదు. సో దట్ మీన్స్ నాట్ కంప్లీట్ ఆటోమేషన్. ఓకే, సో ఎగ్జాక్ట్గా బాట్ రన్ అయ్యే ప్రతిసారి యూ షుడ్ బి ఇన్ ఫ్రంట్ ఆఫ్ సిస్టమ్ అండ్ యూ షుడ్ ఎంటర్ ద వాల్యూ విత్ ఇన్ ద టైం. ఓకే.
ఇంకోటి సార్, కాంటాక్ట్ నెంబర్ ఒకవేళ ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఎక్సెల్లో తప్పు, ఒకవేళ మన తప్పుగా ఎంటర్ ఉందనుకోండి, అది
అవును.
వ్యాలిడేషన్ చూపించడానికి ఇక్కడ మెయిల్ వ్యాలిడేషన్
ఇక్కడ
చూపించడానికి
ఇక్కడ చూడొచ్చు. So if the value is not a correct format or not fulfill this option, you will get this error. So you need to take this error and read this error as a there is something is missing. So you need to enter it once again. Okay. If
Okay.
this something is in the data itself, it is wrong. Okay. Then in that case, you can choose an option. There is an option. Okay, and this field where you want to enter the as a value, just a second, any field if you want to add something, and that's okay. If it is a error also you want to continue, you can choose this option. We have some common utilities or common properties for any activity, which is nothing but the continue on error. So if you choose this option, even though there is an error between this fields or value, it will continue, and it is going to add the delay after, delay before. If you want to add any delay between the before or after the activity, you can use it. And if you choose this option, it will continue even though there is an error on this particular thing. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so like this, that's what see, that is how we're gonna work on it. Suppose if you're trying to submit this one, but there is an error, it will show the pop-up. Okay, so you can see where it is getting pop-up, and that will comes under the exception handling method. So just now what we have done is we have just follow the field mapping. Okay, so this is a one particular state, but there is another level. Okay, the next level is, so the entered value is correct or not, we can check it, and it is added or not, we can check it. For each and every field we're gonna keep a condition also. Okay, so for everything we can have this kind of a exception handling method. For example, as you asked, ఒకవేళ నంబర్ వచ్చేసి రాంగ్ ఉండి లేదంటే తక్కువ నెంబర్స్ ఇట్లా ఇచ్చినా కానీ ఏమవుతుంది, దిస్ ఫామ్ బేసికలీ దిస్ ఫామ్ విల్ నాట్ టేక్ ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్. ఓకే, సో వన్స్ if it is not taken, then it is showing some pop-up here. So field must fill as a must. Okay, so it should complete that values. Okay, so as soon as you're done with this, you will check whether this particular error is there or not by checking the element exists or not, and identify this value, and then you will do it. Okay, so there are a couple of ways, like how to handle the situation, that we are gonna see in the future classes as well. But keep in mind, so to handle this and all, we will call it as a exception handling. Okay, so exception handling is nothing but we are going to handle the errors. ఓకే, సో బాట్ రన్ అయ్యేటప్పుడు ఇన్ కేస్ ఏదైనా ఎర్రర్స్ వస్తే దాన్ని ఎలా హ్యాండిల్ చేస్తామనేది వీ హ్యావ్ అన్ కాన్సెప్ట్. ఓకే, దట్ వీ విల్ డూ ఇట్. యా, ఇంకేమైనా డౌట్స్ ఉన్నాయా? ఎస్, ఎనీ అదర్ డౌట్స్ గైస్? రాహుల్, అక్షత. యా.